your steel frame and why your design is...
If you have a look, these frames are very clean. There is minimal barring, but it's very well designed in terms of where the metal should be. Also, we've got a frame that goes right around the edge of the piano, so that you have this massive section up this side, and it goes all the way around. That actually adds a rigidity to the cabinet. Even though these cabinets are massive, that helps it, and that is a bit like a drum. If for the drum to sustain well, the shell of the drum must be very well constructed so that it keeps pushing the energy back into the skin and not allowing it to dissipate.
So
in this,
how is this made? Is it a casting?
This is a casting.
It's a casting.
This was made in Newcastle.
So it's made in a foundry?
Yes, and it's made of SG iron, so that's spheroidal graphite iron. So it's a very strong steel-like iron. These are quite modern irons. So the old pianos are all made of pig iron, or just straight cast iron.
So there's a metallurgy is specific for your design.
Well, the frame should be a little bit resonant. You don't want a dead frame, but historically they wanted the frame dead,
right?
Or quite dull, which is a product of straight iron casting. But look, every aspect of these pianos has been rethought.
Yeah.
So that I'm trying to build a piano to a modern concept of what I think the acoustic piano should be, and not a reproduction of something else. So when you look at this and you look very closely at it, and you look at other pianos, there are a lot of very different features. But for the other challenge in innovation, in really good innovation, is not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You need to keep the basic, legitimacy of the whole thing. It is still a piano. It is still essentially a piano, and you can't. If you change that, you're going to produce something else. So it's trying to innovate within the concept of what a piano might be or could be.
Yeah. So
that's a big challenge.
It is a huge challenge, and there's actually quite a few fundamentals that you've changed within this piano, because we've seen the changes here, the steel frame, the way that the wire goes onto the soundboard,
the anchoring,
and that's a massive thing. And then finally, the strings themselves are completely unique to your piano.
Well, some of the viewers may be aware that there has been a maker in France called Stephen Polillo who has been doing research into music wire, because, as I said earlier in the previous video, that a piano is essentially it's a stringed instrument, but it's deemed as a percussive instrument because it's hammered. But the sound is produced by the string, and the string is really important. So to change the piano, you have to look at the string, the composition of the string and the tensile strength of the string. These things are fundamental to the actual sound. Now, this particular maker, Stephen Polillo, produced 5 different hardnesses of music wire. And that was done because he's a Frenchman, and they have this very long history of keyboard instrument making.
And this was something he was doing like in the form of research for himself, or he was going outside of the norm with that?
Well, the point I was making there is because France has a very long history of keyboard instrument making. So therefore, if you're going to just repair these old instruments, you've got to use different kinds of wire, because that was the standard of the day. And the instruments were actually built.
And it wouldn't be able to stand the tension.
Well, if you put a modern wire on an old instrument, they don't sound very good.
Yeah.
So you have to use soft wire on old instruments, and they sound right.
Yeah.
So he had that as a baseline, as a premise, when he was doing his string research. Right, I've got to fulfil these requirements, and there are all these historical requirements. So he did that, and then we became aware of his work, and I became, friends, as it were, and we interacted. And I said, what we want now is a super strength wire. We've got a soft wire, so we can change the concept of scale design. Because that means in small pianos, in these sections, the string is getting short. And therefore, if you use modern music wire, which is very hard, it doesn't sound very good. But if you use a softer wire, it sounds really good. It's like in a harpsichord, you can make a bass sound without these big thick strings just by using brass or soft iron.
So
it
this
produces
change,
there's more damping in the wire.
It changes the metallurgy of the...
That's right.
Yeah.
So Paulello made his suite of 5 wires, and I said, right, what we want now is a super strength wire. We need a wire that we can actually increase the frequency spectrum of the piano. To build an octave above the top C, we need a very strong music wire.
So really without him...
It couldn't happen.
He couldn't have happened.
No, couldn't happen.
So he was instrumental in allowing you to change the...
Paulello's music wire is instrumental in the development of our 102 key 2.2 metre model. That is not possible to build using stock standard music wire. Not possible to build it. Also in the 9 octave piano, the 108 keyer, we have got to have Paulello's super strength music wire. We've probably painted ourselves into a corner. But
We have, haven't we? Well, let's hope he stays in production. Yeah.
So
right. Well, I think we should have a little walk out into the sunshine and then go and see.
We'll make let's go and make
It's all about wire now, isn't it? Yeah, it's all about wire.
wire.
Yeah. Right.
Hang on, I'll put this here.